I can't wait to discuss this, so I'm not going to.
He's been teasing me for about an hour with this, ladies and gentlemen.
I saw Top Gun Maverick last night. Even the CP went.
Okay.
I'm here for all of your Top Gun information.
Did you guys sit next to each other?
A couple of seats apart. The Grandview got all new seats, by the way.
Grandview, St. Paul's been pretty good to the Grandview.
Mm-hmm. I went. I probably would not have gone, but too many people recommended it. Too many people raved about it. And the danger with that is if you're going to go, get going, because the more people rave, the more you might be disappointed.
The expectation keeps increasing.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think I know, I can't speak for all of the people who recommended it to me. None of them voiced the opinion I'm about to make. But I think it's what they sensed. First of all, it's a sequel, so the plot was as predictable as a fifth grade play. There's no mystery in the plot. It's a sequel, and Maverick comes back to the Naval Instructional Office after 36 years absence or whatever, and the dialogue is fitting with a plot that's predictable, which made no difference to me because you were watching something completely different. It was a story of American exceptionalism. We're the good guys. Mm-hmm. These were all people who love the country. Mm-hmm. They don't leave people behind. Mm-hmm. They know the difference between right and wrong. Mm-hmm. No one gender tried to use the other gender's bathroom. No one needed a preferred pronoun. Discipline was expected. Justice was expected as it played out naturally.
Oh, that's just Hollywood.
Competition was preeminent. If you didn't make the cut for this extraordinary mission,
deal with it.
That's too bad.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, Cruise is he's the loose cannon who gets away with what he does because he's such a top gunner. He's an extraordinary pilot, and he's always at odds with his bosses, but he wins them over in the end. And
don't spoil it for me.
Yeah, I was going to say you're getting close. You're getting close.
No. But it struck me, this might as well have been made 60 years ago.
Yeah.
Who are we in Top Gun? Was it, who was it? Libya, Muammar Gaddafi. He was Libya was who we were mad at.
Don't even know
during the original.
We don't even know who we're mad at in this.
And you know what? I'm glad you mentioned that because I've been to it 3 times. Don't make fun. I don't care. I might watch it again in the theater. It's that I enjoyed it that much.
Wow. Did you cry every time?
Every time. So I brought my wife and kids Sunday night because both my boys have seen the edited version of the original.
Okay.
And they loved it, and they wanted to see this in the theater. And I said, okay, you're going to hear bad words. You're not to repeat the bad words, and they agreed.
What about the volleyball scene?
Matt,
my son asked me when we got home, well, Dad, who are we fighting against? And so I looked up the Wikipedia page, which there's nothing listed.
There's no explanation.
And I remember why. Because... John, correct me if I'm wrong, because I think you and I talked about this. China pulled it from their theaters, or a portion of China pulled it from their theaters, and we never officially listed who we were fighting against in Top Gun Maverick because we didn't want to offend anybody.
Well, that's a bit contrary to what I'm advocating here, which is this was a story of such positivity that I'm surprised we gave a damn about who we might offend. I had it in Afghanistan, to tell you the truth.
That's what I guessed, too. Yeah.
Did you cry?
No, but I'll tell you what I did at the end. I raised my arms as though calling a touchdown.
Yeah.
At the very end. Yeah.
You guys have to see it in the theater. It's
what did
that
the CP do when you did that?
Hit me in the ribs.
One more logistical question about...
Look at him. Just look at him.
But go ahead.
Okay, one more logistical question about going to the Grandview.
Doing this a disservice,
did you go... hit the ice box and grab a Special X that's probably sitting inside there like it was in high school?
I did not. So I thought the guys who made this have not been paying any attention to this country. You can take off your glasses, Goose.
When we're talking Top Gun Maverick, I have to have the Top Gun shades on. Sorry.
This was the antithesis of wokeism. The absolute antithesis of it, either by design or just this is what this guy named Joseph Kaczynski had in mind. He was the director. So I went down a rabbit hole. Who's this guy? Well, this might be a clue. He's only about 48 years old. He's an American filmmaker best known for his computer graphics and computer-generated imagery work and for his work in action films. He made his big screen directorial debut with the 2010 science fiction film Tron Legacy, which I would not have gone to if you dragged me, the sequel to the 1982 film Tron. His previous work was primarily with CGI-related television commercials, including the Starry Night commercial for Halo and the award-winning Mad World commercial for Gears of War, none of which I know anything about. But he was born in Milwaukee, and this might be a clue, raised in Marshalltown, Iowa. He wasn't raised near the country's tallest buildings. He's the son of Patricia, a French-Canadian descent, and Joel Kaczynski, a doctor of Polish descent. And that's all I know about him. I don't know if he set out intentionally to make a film that stunned me. Not for its literacy or its literature. It's
the footage alone.
The technology was incredible, but these people acted the way GLers act. Mm-hmm. They loved the country. The American flags were plentifully seen in this movie. As I say, it might as well have been made 60 years ago.
And that's why I urged you to go see this in the theater, because that's what it was so up your alley. Every facet of it.
This Val Kilmer character, is he?
Iceman.
Spaghetti Junction or Iceman?
Iceman.
Okay, why was he in this sequel? Why was he in this sequel?
So this is why
he was in the original.
This is why I have to put on my Top Gun shades to explain to the
I don't
mirror.
remember the original. It's
so
too long
in
ago.
the original, I'm about to break it on down.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
In the
How's
original,
Val looking these days?
Not
Pretty
good.
rough.
Not good.
Pretty rough.
So in
Like
real
Chet
life,
Baker, right?
Val Kilmer has lost the ability to speak. He had throat cancer.
Right, he did speak in this film, but
Very,
haltingly.
yeah, right. So anyway, Maverick and Iceman were arch nemesis in the original that became friends at the end of the original.
All right.
Val Kilmer ascended to the position of Admiral Kaczynski.
Right.
And he kept saving Maverick's rear end from getting kicked out of the Navy.
Okay.
Which I won't go any further, but basically he saved him, and that's the only reason why.
What was his original name? Iceman?
Iceman is his call sign.
Was he the father of a guy who died in the original?
No, you're thinking of Goose.
Goose.
Goose was Maverick's
Anthony Edwards.
wingman.
Is the wingman in a different plane or sitting behind
I'm sorry.
you?
The wingman is in a different plane. The what would you call it? His
co-pilot or
co-pilot,
Navigator.
Navigator, sure.
Yeah.
That would be Goose, who, unfortunately, this is not a spoiler because the movie came out in 1986. Goose doesn't make it in the first one.
Right.
But his son is in this movie, the second movie, in a prominent role.
The other pieces of American exceptionalism it captures is never say never. Don't tell me I can't do anything because I'll figure out a way to do it.
Which is the best part of this movie.
And he figures out a way to do it.
Boy, I'll say.
And an hour into it, I leaned over and I said, I can tell you exactly how this is going to end. And I was completely correct. Completely correct. Which is neither here nor there.
Right.
It's what should have
Well, how
happened.
does it end?
No. Don't do that to people.
I'm just going to look it up then.
Kenny, to the point where Sunday I'm sitting with my wife. She is gripping my arm because that's how intense portions of the movie get. And she wants to go see it again, and she could take or leave the first one.
It reminded me that over the years of all the winters I've played golf out in the Palm Desert area, Palm Springs
Sure.
area, I've seen these guys flying around the mountains.
Oh, yeah, I have too.
And I can only assume I was witnessing some sort of training protocol.
In fact, we were in San Diego a couple of years ago on Coronado Island, and 3 of them came screaming over the mountain right over our head, and that was really cool.
You know what it also struck me? And I took a little walk on the service road of life to try to get these thoughts straight. It's a blueprint for why what the left believes does not work. For example, if this movie was made with the left in mind,
Oh, my God.
Cruz, who's assigned to create a team to perform this incredibly difficult mission, which is the thrust of the movie, and he shows up and he's their teacher. And if you followed what the failed academic might expect, he would have been told you must have one woman, one black, one Hispanic, one
Asian,
and
maybe a native,
and that has to be your team. And
Regardless of skill level.
right, and that would not have worked. So what you saw was what does work. putting all you people through grueling tests, and only the best will rise to the top, and that's who I choose. And that's what happened. None of this movie could happen if you adhere to the principles of today's modern, culturally woke left. It could not have been made. It would have looked silly. In fact, it couldn't have been made because it would have been too preposterous.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you do end up with a woman on the final team.
And she's good.
But she's a hell of a pilot.
She's really good.
Oh, my God. It's
And the reason it also stands out and is why it's worth seeing in the theater is
the noise.
The noise and every flight scene is authentic. They didn't computer generate anything in this movie. Because I've watched so many YouTube clips of how they captured all of this audio. Because I was worried that a lot of it was going to be, Will Smith Independence Day where they're shooting off late. That's what I was worried about. But none of every scene is authentic.
It's a movie that's the antithesis that everything the left believes.
I found the ending. There's a Wikipedia page. Sometime after the mission, Maverick and Rooster worked together on. No.
Wrong. That's the wrong
Kenny,
one.
I'm telling you right now, you need to go see it. You'll love it.
When anybody tells me I need to do anything,
Oh, yeah.
I usually do the opposite.
Kenny, you should stay home and never, ever watch Top Gun Maverick.
No problem.
Joe, you make a good point, though, that America, everybody loves this. Why does this bring everyone together?
Why is this breaking box office records?
Because deep down, America loves America, and even the Hollywood left couldn't put together, like you said, a diverse Maverick. They just went full Top Gun.
This was discussed on our drive home from the theater.
With the kids.
The reason
When are you taking off your aviator glasses?
when we're done talking about Top Gun Maverick. The reason that it was because this was supposed to be released 2 years ago, and they decided not to because of the pandemic, obviously. But the timing of this release could not have worked out better for this movie production company because of what this country the way that this country currently resides. They couldn't have picked a better time. Memorial Day weekend, how divided this country is right now, and that's why it's shattering box office numbers.
But it's a movie about people who love this country.
Correct.
Right.
And will take the steps to protect it. And those steps are right and wrong, discipline,
Killing some bitches.
competition, getting the bad guys, triumphing,
When you leave,
never saying never.
when you left the theater, I wonder if you have the same reaction I did. When you left the theater, did you say, okay, maybe it's not as bad as I think it is?
No, I was just glad it was still light out.
Was Kenny Loggins in the soundtrack?
Yes.
At the very beginning,
Yes.
sure, playing the original song.
John, have you
I
seen
love
it?
Kenny Loggins, and I hate that song.
Have you
But
seen
I love
it,
Kenny
John?
Loggins. I haven't seen the original ever, Kenny.
I don't think, you guys keep assuming I've seen the original. I probably did,
Okay,
but
you
I'm not
probably did.
recalling.
Here's what I'll do. Y'all can come over to
No,
my
that's
place,
fine.
and I'll put it on the old
haven't seen
DVD
him-
player.
Wait,
I gotta-
can we
I
have
gotta say
sandwiches?
I got to think.
Look at the village.
He's doing
at the
flybys
village.
by the tower and the boat and all that. You hasn't seen
Negative,
that?
Ghost Rider,
The
the pattern
singing
is
at the
full.
bar.
Better idea. John, I'll grab the DVD. I'll head up to your house. We'll pop a couple cold ones. We'll watch the
I'm not
original.
I won't be home, I don't think.
Isn't that gal that he serenaded in the bar in the original movie? She's actually a lesbian, I think.
Correct.
Kelly
McGillis.
McGillis.
And
Kelly
she was
McGillis.
interviewed
Kelly
about
McGillis.
why she wasn't asked. And she herself said, I'm old, I'm fat, I have no interest. No, thank you.
Was she also in Weird Science?
That was Kelly LeBrock.
Oh,
She was in, what was Harrison Ford in?
Can we spend 15 minutes talking about Weird Science? Now that was a film.
No.
By the way,
Yeah.
the third
Michael
reason
Anthony Hall.
you need to see this movie,
like that song.
John, the third reason you need to see this movie, Jennifer Connelly, all I'm saying.
Yeah, Jennifer.
You get no
know
good
who that
parts with
is.
her.
Who is she?
Did you take a bathroom break?
There was no good parts.
Good part.
If she's on screen.
She's on
a good
screen,
part.
Okay.
Oh, so
I'll
I'm
ask
supposed to
the question.
appreciate her face?
What about nudity?
There is
None.
any.
It's
There isn't
PG-13.
any. There isn't any.
However, Kenny and I recall what's the film with the Miles Davis, John Lee Hooker song where she is
The Hot
she has
Spot?
several nudes.
The Hot
Can
Spot.
we, boys, you're getting
You're
away from
drifting. You guys are
you're
drifting.
getting
Let's
way away
focus
from
on
the
good
point.
song.
America
Focus on
loves
Maverick.
Jennifer Connelly.
John Lee
Don't
Hooker.